Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome to Inside Scoop on Bharat FM, Bajega Bharat, Jhumega Bharat. I'm your host, Veena Somayaji. In today's show, we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Harsukh Gevariya, the founder of Triangle Molecular Toxicology Lab in Durham, North Carolina. This company specializes in providing a wide variety of testing options using cutting edge technology for giving the best service to a wide demographic of customers. Dr. Gevariya holds a PhD in organic chemistry, and he has published numerous national and international publications in highly rated journals. He also holds a professional NRCC board certification. He expertises in analyzing and interpreting toxicology results in clinic and forensic settings. At Triangle Lab, he serves as clinical and forensic toxicology and medical director. We are honored and proud to introduce you all to Dr. Harsukh Gevariya. Welcome to the show, sir.
My pleasure, Vinaji.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. Thanks for joining us today. We all are excited to know very details about you and your organization, what kind of services they offer, where are they located, each and every details. So today I'm going to start with asking about your education. Where were you born? Where did you do your education? And we are curious to know about that.
Sure. So thank you very much for the invitation. And it's my pleasure to be here on the Bharat FM. To start with, I born in a small village around 15 miles away from the city of Junagadh in Gujarat. I'm from a small lower middle class family, and I spent most of my childhood in this village. Right, schooling, primary education done in my hometown, named Pipolwa, and then we didn't have high school, so I had to move my mama's home nearby town. I did my high school 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, and 11th and 12th in Rajkot. Rajkot is a capital of state of Kathiawar. And then college in Junagadh, MS and PhD in Rajkot.
Okay.
So moved throughout the state of Kathiawar, and then immediately after my completion of the PhD, I got a job offer, but actually MS, I got job offer after completion of my MS, and then I approached to a few professors. According to their advice, he said, you should have a final degree if you wanted to achieve a better position in this industry.
Yep.
So I approached to Professor Anamik Shah, very well known and talented professor at Saurashtra University, Rajkot. So we discussed a couple projects, drug discovery projects, and finally he accepted me as a PhD student. So I completed my MS in organic chemistry, PhD in drug discovery or synthetic drugs, right? And then after completion of my PhD, I worked for the Merck Development Center in Mumbai, where I got married to. So Mumbai is quite professionally and personally is my now hometown.
Hometown, okay.
During my tenure at Merck, I felt something is missing, even though I had a final degree in my hand. So I went to Europe for 2 years.
Yeah.
First year I was in Vienna University of Technology, Vienna, Austria. And the second year I was in University of Siena in Italy. And then I was also in Israel for a short duration of time. So the whole around 2.5 years I was in Europe. That includes Middle East actually too. Throughout my European work or research work, my work was focused on HIV drug discovery. At that time, the HIV research was extremely popular, not popular, but the hot because of the, HIV related death was extremely high. So because of my HIV discovery work, I was invited for the a job or the postdoc in a small biotech company in San Diego. They offered me a visa and also a green card, and now I'm citizen too, by the way. So over the period of time, my research interests advanced, and finally, I am a clinical and forensic toxicologist. So research advanced from the drug discovery to the clinical toxicologist. So we moved from Florida to, sorry, California to Florida, and now in North Carolina. Since 2014, we are in North Carolina. I also acquired a board certification from NRCC, which I'm allowed to direct 5 different labs. In a federal guideline says if you run a lab, whether it's a physician-owned lab or reference lab, you have to have a board certified lab director. So according to federal law, I, being as a board certified uh, director, I can direct 5 labs, maximum 5 labs. So the lab I have in Durham, North Carolina, is owned by me. But apart from Durham lab, I manage 4 other labs. One lab is in Maryland, which is primarily a forensic lab,
Yep.
and the rest of the 3 labs are in Texas. So this is my profile, and as I said, I'm right now directing 5 labs. Out of 5 labs, 1 I own, and rest of the 4 I manage or I'm a director there. So this is my brief introduction, so to say.
So North Carolina Durham office was your first office that you started here. What brought you to North Carolina Durham area? There are like so many other big cities. So what brought you and started your organization here in Durham?
So we chose 3 different locations, a shortlisted 3 different locations. One was in Virginia, second was in North Carolina, and the third was in Miami, Florida. Right, but with we chose Norfolk, Virginia, but the problem with that location was the hiring process.
Okay.
For example, if you wanted to have talented people, then this is not the place everyone goes there. Right?
Oh,
It's pretty much if we wanted to hire talented staff,
mhm.
it's not very favorable location.
Okay.
So that location was eliminated, and the second location was in Miami, Florida.
Mhm.
We tried to finalize a deal, but somehow it didn't work out. So we zeroed down to RTP, North Carolina, where we have all possibilities, like hiring talented staff, having infrastructures. The location is favorable from many point of view. So that's why we chose to have a business in RTP area.
Yes, yes. I mean, Raleigh and the RTP area comes with the talented professionals. There are a lot of colleges too in the area, and a lot of upcoming professionals you can choose from, which totally makes sense to go with
That's
Durham as your hotspot. So
we
we
have
want to, yeah, no, oh, sorry, Durham, North Carolina. So we want to know what kind of wide services do you offer, and are these like any other clinic where a customer or a person can walk in to get testing, or is it only reserved for some organization, like you said, your forensic department? Do you work with government organizations for that?
so we are a reference lab, so we do need a referral from the certified staff,
Mhm.
physicians
Okay.
or the certified businesses. But for the other tests like COVID, which no longer we provide services, But some certain tests, yes, it is possible to have walk-ins. But even if you have walk-ins, we need to have a referral. For
Okay.
example, physician certificate, or the nurse practitioner, or physician assistant. So we do need a referral uh, or prescription from the physicians to draw these samples for the
Mm-hmm.
drug. For years, we wanted to serve. Say, for example, my lab in Maryland, we serve for many government entities. For example, we serve for the courthouses, we serve for the addiction centers, county courts, jail houses. So it depends on this type of business that we deal with.
Okay.
Um, yes, it is what we provide. Again, services is just not limited to the drug toxicology. We do have services for the other tests as well. So
Okay.
based on the physician's requirement, we modify or we add the tests in our portfolio as well.
Yes, that's interesting. So, when did it occur to start this organization? Like, in which year did this organization come into existence?
Uh, we started a lab in 2022, but we, me personally, I had a reason to start the lab
Hmm.
because, as I said before, I serve for rest of the four labs, and before even those four labs, I worked with many other labs too. And uh, as a lab director or toxicologist, I receive many complaints either from physicians, patients, addiction centers, courthouses. They usually have some or other way to need, to communicate with me, either email, phone calls, text message, and so on. And I receive a lot of complaints from those individuals, like courthouses, right, and the physician owned clinics too. And throughout the complaints two are major complaints from them. One is the lab or big giant labs like nationalized labs. They send bills to the patients when even though patient cannot afford it, and
Yeah.
if patient cannot provide the pay the money to the lab testings,
Hmm.
big corporation lab, they send to the collection agency. Eventually, those collection agency mess up their patient's credit score, and patients get upset. Eventually, it will reflect to the physician as well, right?
Yes.
Physician, they lost their patients and so on. So that was one major complaint I always receive in a daily basis.
Hmm.
The second complaint that I receive is the technical questions. For example, if physicians or courthouses, they have questionable results. The results do not match with what they are expecting. For example, physician is prescribing XYZ drug, but if they don't see that drug into the report, then the results are questionable, right? They
Yeah.
wanted to know why it's not there. It's
Correct.
supposed to show the results, but it's not showing up.
Okay.
Other side of this story as well, like for example, if they have not prescribed medications and still show the results in the report, they want to know why it's not it's showing up.
Yeah.
So and sometimes they, I mean, lab, they mess up the results. For example, one person to results to the second person to the first person,
Yeah.
and that creates a lot of issues. They also mess up the patient physician relationship too. Patients start questioning the physician, hey, what you're doing, and so on.
Hmm.
Right? Those are the major complaints that I receive throughout my career, and the lab was designed to address those issues.
Okay.
With the lab, with Triangle Lab, we have a program called Patient Care Plan, in
Hmm.
which we provide the financial help to the patients. So
Okay.
For example, if person doesn't have the insurance, we sometimes we complementary test their results.
Mhm.
Sometimes if person doesn't have has insurance but it's not covered, then also we help the patients to pay the bills. So
That's
this,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So especially for those individuals who do not have insurance or their insurance is not covered, they are very happy with our labs. So we have those program as well. And the other side of the thing is uh, being as a board certified clinical toxicologist and a CEO of this lab, I have leverage to offer much more personalized services. Right? If they, if big giant labs, they test the results, they do not have immediate help to address physicians' questions. For example, if they have results are questionable, physician ha- physician has to send emails or text messages or phone calls, and quite
Mhm.
often it takes days and sometimes weeks too to address the issues. In our lab, they have my cell phone number, so the help
Wow.
is always be quick. And I address their questions in a matter of seconds. If I need investigation, it may take some time, maybe a day at the most,
Mhm.
but they have the immediate help. So we with the Triangle Lab, they have you know personalized help to address their question and issues.
Issues.
So these are the advantages they have if they want to take their services.
I have seen many Indian parents come with or without insurance sometime, and sometimes the insurance doesn't cover. So this would be a big help for them to go to. I know businesses, they bloom when they have a personal touch to the services they provide, and I'm sure that you are providing that, and it's gonna be a huge hit with the patients where they have complaints and they want to go for it. So I think surely your company would be the one to go for it. Uh, with this question, I know any company, when you start, there might be many challenges or hurdles that you have faced. So what do you recall one instance or one hurdle that took a little longer to address when you started this organization?
As such, my initial startup was very good because I already set up the other labs, so I didn't have to go through the major hurdle. But the 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 problem with my lab was different, meaning I had to do everything single-handed.
Okay.
Right? So I wear many hats. Like I'm a toxicologist, so I had to go through the legal formalities. I'm a
Mhm.
CEO, so I had to go through the other insurance formalities too.
Yeah.
I am operator as well, a business operation, looking for a business operation as well.
Mhm.
So I had to hire the other staff members too. That also another hat. And I myself, look for the lab overall lab operation as well. So even though staffs are doing, but overall I am a responsible person. So coming back to the point, it I wear a lot of hats, and that's why the operation was a little bit delayed, couple months, maybe 4 or 5 months or so. That was the biggest challenge I had. Even though I would have delegated to someone else,
Mhm.
but I did not choose to go through the delegation because I had fear of failure. Maybe other person may not be doing well as compared to me, so I rather chose to delay the start than the seeing a failure.
Right. Right. I agree. We always have the fear that will that person be so much dedicated as I am to my job and my responsibilities? We all have that fear. I agree to that point. So I know you wore so many hats in your organization. So did that bring a stress life? Did that affect any way in your family life? Did you have to spend a lot of time setting up the company, and did that affect your family life? I'm sure everyone will have complaints if you don't spend much time at family.
Yes, I took my vacation last in 2019, early 2019.
Wow, that's quite a bit of
And
time.
that's it. So I usually start my work around 7 a.m. and there is no guarantee that I'll be back by 7.
Wow,
So
that's
7 a.m. to no time. This is my regular day. I reach to the lab with a cup of coffee, and then I come back to home with a couple Red Bulls empty bottles.
uh,
So
that's
nowadays, Red Bull is helping me a lot to to.
to keep you up with the schedule.
That's correct.
That's correct. So no complaints from family when you don't spend much time with them.
Oh, don't tell me that. It's
We'll
always, it's
discuss
always.
that further.
That
So,
compromise my family life. My kids, some quite often they expect the family time. My religious life is messed up somehow. Spiritual life is messed up. Sometimes my obviously family life is already you know, as I described, kids wanted to spend the time with me, but it is what it is. I mean, one day we will have vacation together.
yes, everyone would do that. So, are your lab open on weekends too? Do you work on Saturdays and Sundays?
We do not work on a weekend, but we do provide the services. Meaning, say for example, if a patient has some kind of emergency, then yes, we do. If not, then basically you can say we can only on appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. Okay. So my next question would be again around your company. How do you compare your company with your competitors in the market? I know you told me they are big giant companies which do not provide so much of personalized services like you do. But what do you think that How do you compare yourself with the competitors in the market? I'm sure every business or every company has its own competitors. So how do you compare your company with them, with the big giants?
Yeah. So the biggest giants are the LabCorp and Quest Diagnostics. Those are
Mm-hmm.
wide, widely known companies, right? We also have the local lab, big lab, I would say, called Mako Lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of them have some or other way, they do not provide the personalized services. We do. Uh, the the question for those personalized services is they have they do have services but not personalized, for example, right? If they have issue, a patient has issues, for example, let me talk about the couple of weeks experience. Like, I was talking with physician, and he was quite grumbling around. He said, XYZ lab messed up my results. I said, what happened? And he says, they switched my one patient results to another patient.
Okay.
So meaning, one patient results go on to the second patient result go to the first patient.
Okay.
Essentially, they switch the patient results. What happens now? For example, now if one person has diabetes and second person is not completely
Yeah,
normal, what happens? Right?
that's scary. That's really
It's
scary that
really scary.
somebody start diagnosis on it. So that's scary. Yep.
And luckily, the physicians recognize that this person is cannot be diabetic because
Mm-hmm.
he did not have a history of diabetic, and now suddenly he became diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily, we have the annual physical exam. So he had a record of the physician had a record of the every years
Mm-hmm.
in his life. So that was quite scary
Yes, it
in
is.
the sense, then again, coming back to the point, those, even though it's a big lab, but they do not provide those kind of services, right?
Yes. Yes.
So again, coming back to the point, even though we have a local lab or local big lab, but they also do not provide the services. Again, with our lab, we provide very much personalized services.
Services. Yes. Yes. The accuracy is very important in the results, especially in this field. You cannot mess up anybody's results, and it has its own complications later. So, yeah, on this note, I would like to know that I know that you told me this is your primary company that in Durham, and you're managing other four companies across US. Do you have plans in future to expand it to all the states, or what's your future plan? Where do you see yourself and your company in next 5 years?
Okay, so as of now, we are planned to service in North Carolina,
Hmm.
South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee,
Hmm.
Texas, Indiana, and Maryland. So
That's
with this lab, we are serving for those states
okay.
with one location. So what happens is with those states, they collect the specimens on site
Hmm.
and they ship the specimens overnight. So
Hmm.
by 4 or 5 o'clock, they collected the specimens, and 4 or 5 o'clock, the courier, like UPS or FedEx, they pick up the specimen on the same day. And the next day, overnight delivery, before 10:30, we will have the specimens in the lab. Same day, we test the specimens, and next day, we will release the results. So the results will not affect the turnaround time, even
Hmm.
though they are located in Texas or the North Carolina. This is going to be on the same turnaround time. There is no resistance or uh, you know distance doesn't matter at all.
Yes. So that's impressive that
Mhm.
you're picking up the samples on the same day and the next day you have your results.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Mhm.
That, providing the turnaround time doesn't affect, the distance or any other state. That's really impressive. So, what is your success mantra, or what's your, goal that you'd want to achieve in next few years?
Success. I would say success is not really an absolute term. I would rather say success is work in progress.
Yes.
So I would rather say I am much better than last year. My 2023 was much better position than 2022.
Hmm.
I am ready to have double or triple the success compared to the 2023.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have a lot of plans introducing newer tests and newer technologies. For example, there is a service called dry blood spot. Very few labs provide the testing for dry blood spot.
Okay.
We will be introducing by end of this year too. So that's a new technology. I think one lab is in Texas and second lab is in California. Those are the only two labs provide this kind of technology, and we will be starting in the United States.
Okay.
So we are introducing new technology. We are also working with a Korean company. They are introducing the cancer diagnosis. The technology is under a clinical trial in Texas.
Mhm.
So as soon as we have the results, we will be introducing the cancer diagnosis as well in the test in our test menu.
That's a good news. So during this COVID time, I know all the labs were very busy and very high in demand. Did
Mhm.
you see any changes in your, performance or any other requirements? Was the requirements very high for those testings, especially during the COVID time? How did it affect, or how did it bring a change to your company?
Well, the I think the change is good in the sense during the COVID time there are tons of the COVID lab came into the market just to grab the COVID market, right? Those labs are struggling now. Many labs are closing now, right? So initially, back in 2022, we had a very big competition.
Mhm.
So the area itself has maybe 20 COVID testing lab.
Okay.
Out of 20, for example, 15 died by now.
Wow, that's a big number.
And this is true for nationwide. Many COVID labs are closing because their aim was to grab the COVID market, but COVID market doesn't exist anymore. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Some of the labs converted to other testings, but many labs they closed their operation or they will close the operation. So there is a competition, but we are in much better stage as compared to 2022, and I'm sure many labs are or will be closing by end of the 2024 as well. So in terms of competition, we are in much better shape because we never targeted the COVID. We always targeted the routine testing, toxicology, forensic toxicology, and so on. So we are better. We are much better than as compared to others. Yes.
Yes, that's good to know.
Mhm.
So, so apart now, I would want to dig in something about your, if you permit, to into your personal life. We want to know how Dr. Gevariya spends his day, or how what are his hobbies, what do you do in your free time, what do you love to do, and a little bit about your family too.
So personally, my time almost always be in the lab during the daytime. So as I said before, I go to the lab at 7 a.m. in the morning, come back much late or much late in the evening. Um, Somehow my religious life is compromised, personal life is compromised, but there is a way to find, at least a family time, right?
Hmm.
In a while. For example, last month we were in Florida. So every now and then we visit to, friends' place and so on. Um, and if I have some free time, for example, in the weekend, right? Once in a while, it's not a regular time, but once in a while we go to the temples nearby. I am associated with Sri Swaminarayan Temple on Morrisville, sorry, in Maynard Road, Cary, North Carolina. So I spend my spiritual time there too. And then even with this, apart from the spiritual time, I just work on my lab stuff sometimes in a weekend too.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your family. Who do you have in your family here?
Yeah, I, my wife, and I have two kids. My daughter, her name is Malika.
Mhm.
She is in the second year of college. She is a pre-med, and my son is in high school. He will probably be in a pre-med too. So Malika goes to the UNC Chapel Hill, and my son is in Apex High School,
It's good
Green
to know.
Green Level High School in Apex.
Okay, good to know. So are you more connected towards religious beliefs, and what is your religious belief, or what do you think that keeps you motivated every day? One thing that you want, you think that it's your goal or purpose. What brings purpose to your life? What do you think? Is it religious belief, or it's family that keeps you running? What do you say about that?
So I think I would like to consider myself as a spiritual person, and I'm trying to be religious,
Mhm.
but I'm not there yet. I'm kind of struggling to have my religious beliefs because every time when chamatkar happens, I try to justify with science, and quite often it's not justifiable, right? Chamatkar not almost always be justifiable. It's just uh, happens. It just happens without any explanation, right? For our Hindu scriptures, for example, we consider copper as a pious metal, but it's a metal. There is nothing like pious or so, right? But I try to justify, for example, like ancient fathers and forefathers, maybe a saints.
Mhm.
Maybe they have some kind of Wilson disease, which is of the copper deficiency, and they started to use the copper parts,
Mhm.
and with using copper pods they treated their Wilson disease, and that's why they thought that copper is the pious metal, right? So I try to justify with science, for example. And another example is, for example, Lord Ganesh, right? Prajapati ducks. Lord Ganesh has elephant head. Prajapati ducks have goat head,
Mhm.
right? Uh,
Yes.
in modern science, we call it transplantation,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yes. Well, relatable. Yeah.
yeah. So, when I look at the science point of view, it's not justified right now. Science probably in early stage or infant stage. so far we are not that advanced to understand the head transplantation, but we are in infant stage, meaning we just see or succeed in internal organs, not the external organs, right?
Yes.
But you know, maybe in a century or so, we science will be able to transplant the head as well. Who knows? One day we will achieve it, and that at that time, uh, probably we will be able to justify how Lord Ganesha and the Prajapati ducks existed with different persons or different animals' head.
Yes, yes. Science is so vast that, we can just think about it. We cannot even imagine how much of capabilities it has. So,
Mhm.
yeah, now this brings me to a fun fact question. So,
Uh-huh.
you'd want to know one thing about yourself that only your family knows. Fun fact, think maybe.
Fun, not really. See, I'm a science. I'm a scientist, all right. So I feel like I'm born as a scientist, right? Try to be a scientist, and I am a scientist. I try to justify, as I said before, everything I justify with science.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes it's not justifiable, but I try to explain with science. Sometimes I couldn't, you know. So one thing that not fun part, but one thing is that know me, people know me, or my friends, family members,
Hmm.
society know me as a Harsukh and not as a Dr. Harsukh Gevariya, who is a board certified forensic toxicologist or clinical toxicologist, right? I try to be a low profile, but now people will know.
But you're going to get a lot of publicity out of this interview today. A lot of people are going to approach you for that. So, one last question, not least, but the last question that I have: what is one advice or suggestion you would want to give anyone who wants to start their own organization or who wants to pursue something that you have done so remarkably well? What is that one suggestion you'd like to give to maybe young generation, or somebody who wants to uh, follow your footsteps?
So, one thing is not just one thing, but the first thing is when you start the business, do your homework and take calculated risks. Those are the not one but two are the major things that you will face the situation. For example, we are in a science-based business. It's not a grocery store, or it's not a hotel or motel, right?
Yes.
Excuse me. For hotel or motel or grocery stores, your audience is normal people. You can
Hmm.
advertise on the internet, you can advertise on the TV, you can advertise on many platforms, social media also.
Hmm.
This is the business that I am in is not that easy. So you should know your audience, you should know your customers,
Hmm.
and do your homework and take calculated risk. There is no business which gives you the guaranteed success. So always weigh your risks as well. And there is no substitute for hard work. Once you start the business, if you are starting the business from scratch, make sure that you dedicate your time, day, night, at least for a couple of years.
Yes.
Once you are up and running, at that time you may be able to devote some of the times with your family, religious, and other vacations and so on. But make sure that you have dedicated time for the business. And the last but not least is, even if you fail, failure is a key of success. So
Yes.
you'd rather, take this advice, but the last, you always, even if you fail, do not get discouraged. Make sure that you back up, stand up, and keep trying until you get success.
Yes. Yes. I totally agree. There is no shortcut for hard work and discipline. It has to be consistent, it has to be accurate, and it needs to be pursued every day, not just one
Mhm.
day. So, yes, hard work and dedication is very, very important.
Yes.
So, this brings to the end of this interview, and thank you so much. We appreciate your time and patience coming out here and talking to all of us. It's been a pleasure talking to you. A lot of information, a lot of good stuff. So viewers, do not miss this. Please listen and watch us on Bharat FM. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much again to coming here and spending your precious time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Much. Thank you. You have a good day. Thank you.
Mhm.